now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Side Street Podcast. We're not going quick enough for Nez, but again, I'm your host, Victor Martinez. I'm joined by our newest recurring, what do you want to say?
He's now a full-fledged
member of the Side Seat Podcast, Matt Wilkins, along with Quake Turner, Jake Turner.
The pride of Barstow.
The pride of Barstow, and Eric Nesbitt, a.k.a. Nez. And we are joined today by Remember My Name members, Corey.
That is me.
You want to say hello? You can say Chad.
What's up?
And Brett.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
All right, so welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us. And Jake, these are your buddies that you...
They are. I've known them for, 10, 15 years now, it seems like?
I think I was a freshman in high school when I met Jake.
Moves.
Yeah, long time.
And this came about
This could make me feel
because
even older
we
now.
saw you guys open up for 3 Years Hollow, wasn't it? That night?
You were there.
Yeah.
We saw them open up for 3 Years Hollow. This is almost a month now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
At Rascals?
Yeah, it was at
Rascals.
Rascals.
Yep.
And you guys, Jake had asked you that night, and you were totally down. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
So we'll get into you guys here in a second, but just bring up a couple things. And I know Corey, you were excited. Well, not excited, but you were right there with me and giving a shout out to Dusty Rhodes and the Rhodes family.
The American Dream passed away today.
That's so sad, man. You know, it's rough whenever I hear, because I'm a huge wrestling fan. I dabble in the world of pro wrestling with my buddies and whatnot. So it was just kind of to find out at work. I was like, damn it. So
Yeah, I didn't even think it was real at first. I thought it was somebody playing a joke, but yeah.
But well, anyways, so big shout out to them. Rest in peace.
Well, he's got... The one thing about Dusty Rhodes is he had the best set of man boobs I've ever seen.
They
They had the best set of man boobs ever.
American boobs, yeah, man. So, anyways, let's get right into the news, guys. Jimmy Asher, huh? Who brought this one? Jake, was that you?
Yeah, former bass player from Izzy and the Juju Hounds and Broken Homes and... That better? Broken Homes and he last played with Buckshare. He's now playing with the Colt.
Oh, really? So, how long is this? Just like recent? Like
I don't
he
know.
Just joined
Yeah,
up
he
with
just joined. He was pretty quiet on Facebook for a while, and all of a sudden he started popping up and posting photos of him on stage. So.
Got you. Well, that's a pretty new one. How do you think? I mean, he's got to learn the stuff, but does he have like a signature sound for himself?
Yeah, I mean
that he's going to bring to the band.
he's one of the few bass players that still plays with their fingers. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
You play with your fingers, Chad?
As
Chad?
I do.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
see?
So,
He hates pigs.
I used to play with my ladies with my fingers.
you mean used to? Don't you still do that?
I'm married. Those days are over.
Yeah. Also, the new Motorhead song is streaming. Did anybody catch the name of that song?
Oh,
Like
don't
something,
put me on the spot.
Thunder and something, or what?
Thunderballs McGee.
Yeah, sure. Thunderballs McGee, the new Motorhead song, is up for streaming and listening. So
And
it's
it's awesome.
It's off of that.
How
Yeah.
many people are going to go look for Thunderballs McGee? It's a kick-ass album name, dude.
Yeah, Motorhead, you can blame Matt Wilkins for that one. So, I haven't heard it yet. I saw it recently, so I'm excited to go give it a listen. But the new album should probably be out by the time fall rolls around. So, there's always good news in the, aside from the bad news we got today. But there's always good news in the world of music. Mostly bad sometimes. But what we talk about here, guys, from Remember My Name again, once again, Corey, Brett, and Chad, we just kind of gather around and just talk about music, talk about things we love. Lately, we've actually moved to a pick of the week format, which you guys are welcome to chime in once we give ours. And if you have one that you want to throw out there, go for it. But before we get to that segment, man, let's talk a little bit about you guys. So what's the word with Remember My Name, right? Is that it? Am I getting it right? Okay. I'm getting it right.
It's hard to forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dig.
The name actually comes from a song that I had written, but initially I wanted the band to be called Harbinger, but they weren't feeling it. I thought it was a little too death metal or something. So I wrote a song called Remember My Name, and these two guys always outvote me on everything, so that became the name of the band. I really didn't have a choice.
So you guys were like No, it's gonna be this, and you're gonna like
Yeah,
this.
pretty much.
So,
Yep.
so how long have you guys been playing together?
About six months.
I think early December of last year. Yeah.
So how'd you get it? Initially, what was the thing that brought you guys together? Like you guys knew each other?
We've all known each other. I'm a year older than them. And
Okay.
I've known them since first grade, and I actually went to school with their older brother. Like he was in my class. So
Gotcha.
we're always around each other. We all grew up, and so actually I lived right down the street from Jake growing up. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So you're all
pride of Barstow.
In Barstow? In
Right,
Barstow?
I literally lived on Barstow Road.
He lived on Barstow Road.
I wasn't cool enough
So
to
he was,
actually live in town.
he's not a Carbon Cliff Barstow guy?
No, yeah, so he
it
went
was
to,
technically East Moline Barstow Road.
yeah, because you went to Silva
I
School,
did.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Nez got excited there for
Yeah,
a second.
well, you would have
Another
remembered.
former student that I didn't realize.
Yeah, he was my gym teacher. Back
Oh
in the day.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So you all got together, just like, how did you know? You knew they played instruments. And
Yeah.
They were down.
Yeah, actually, I mean, Brett's been in bands, since forever, and I always kind of just hung around, and
Yeah.
helped him, move equipment around or whatever. And
Gotcha.
I always talked about starting something, but just now it's starting to finally come around.
Good.
We
Now-
finally convinced them to come try out for
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
It was actually-
Life
it was-
life
it
kind of
was-
happened for me for a while, but
Yeah.
You just had a baby too.
I
Congrats.
did. Thank you. It'll be a
Congratulations,
month old
Daddy.
tomorrow.
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
You getting any sleep?
Yeah, for the most part, it's not too bad. So.
It only gets worse as they get older, I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, I have a daughter too, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know.
So you know.
Yeah, I'm quite the family man.
All right.
Now, genre, what do you guys consider you guys as being? What?
Hard rock, metal,
Death
kind of a mix of both, really.
Yeah.
We're just trying to find that new sound, I guess. As kind
Yeah,
of
I mean, we
cliche
don't-
as it is.
You guys
but-
don't really have there's not like a pigeonholed for
I
you
mean,
guys.
we don't really compare ourselves to other bands because we're just trying to do our own thing.
Yeah.
I know everybody says that, but
Right.
I mean that's
Sure,
that's just what we're after.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to go avant-garde, I know a really great cello player. She's in 8th grade right now. She's really good. My daughter.
You
I'm gonna play cello.
turn
I
into that
got a
apocalyptica sound, I guess.
When
Apocalyptica, yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever guys want to go with like Celtic Frost,
Or that
I
too,
know a great
Frost.
cello player.
when
Nobody wants to go Celtic Frost. Let's just throw
when we were sitting there waiting for the
dare
show
you.
to start, or after Remember My Name got done, the guitar player from Sugar Nipples was on Facebook. Goes, "This is gonna be like Carrot Top opened up for Slayer. We did not fit this bill at all." I was like, that's probably describes it pretty well because I mean everybody knows what Sugar Nipples are. I mean they're like covers and just goofy ass songs and stuff. Good musicians, but he just walked in. He's like,
I would like to
"This
point
is
out that I've only been back in the Quad Cities for a year. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
What, Sugar Nipples?
Sugar Nipples?
Really?
Yeah.
They've been around for years, man.
I've been gone for years.
And it was my
damn years.
it was my first
Oh,
time
okay.
seeing them too, and
Oh, really?
first time
I
seeing you
love
guys,
those
so
guys.
They're pretty entertaining. Overall, the show was good, guys, and so
I'm like, hey guys, Trip Master Monkey still playing?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So what we were talking about earlier, I kind of wanted you to hold off on that. You guys kind of had a little snag here. You had a little snag with your drummer. I don't know if you want.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
There's no hard feelings towards him. He got a new job, and life kind of just happened for him. But we're happy for him. Hopefully.
Drummers are a lot like bass players.
Yeah.
Just throwing that
Yeah.
out there.
They're hard to find too.
Yeah, good ones. Yeah,
Yeah, good
I mean,
ones.
Do you guys have a drummer right now?
No, we're actually looking for a drummer.
Oh,
right
we
now.
know a guy. He likes to stay
Send him our
mobile.
way. Send him
Look it
our
up.
way.
His name's Herb Morgan. He is.
Do you think we could drag him out?
He's a man of many genres.
no,
We'll
I
see.
know.
Wilkins is saying that. He's saying no. So,
no.
but
It's a double dog dare.
I mean, Herb, man, he's among the best drummers I've ever known in my entire life, and I've known a lot. And I never can ever say nice enough stuff about Herb Morgan. He is one of the greatest human beings, the quietest human beings you'll ever met
Yeah,
in,
he
in
was-
your life. We used to call him the Ginsu drummer. I mean, he would shred through sticks, and then he'd come off the stage and be as quiet as a dormouse.
there you go.
And it's like, wow, I mean, where do you get this energy, this violence, and then come off the stage and be just that cool again? You know?
He's a ninja, man. He's probably
he's
probably
stealth.
samurai. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he is
flies
definitely.
under the radar. Maybe we can introduce. Hey, Herb, why don't you hit
Well,
up
let's
these
just put it
guys,
this way.
so.
There was a show here last night, and I was desperate for somebody to come here with me. And I was sending messages out to everybody, and I even sent one to Herb. And Herb goes, and he's a big Depeche Mode fan. And there was like the band that was here last night was very Depeche Mode sounding. He's like, "No, man, I'm good." No, said like, "What? It's $5. Who says no to that?" "Oh, I'm good."
Yeah, I had to because my drunk friend was in town. So, but anyways, back to the Rascals show and back to your situation. So is that allowing you guys to kind of write more and record more?
Yeah,
What are you saying?
yeah.
So-
Actually, we're currently working on an EP right now. We've been doing the 3 songs with 2 of the guys from 3 Years Hollow.
Oh,
They're,
okay.
yeah,
A lot
so
of local fans around.
they're actually going on tour. So we're gonna take about a month off. We're gonna write some stuff and
Yeah, he's recording it, mixing it, producing it.
Jose, yeah,
Very
Tony,
cool.
yeah,
I mean, we
very cool guys.
we wrote a new song with him, and then we redid a couple of our songs, and he pulled out stuff that we didn't think we could even do. you
Yeah,
know?
he's
he just took it to a whole new level. Yeah.
good coach, definitely.
Well,
He knows
It's
what
always
he's
good to
doing.
have because he's been around the game. And 3 Years Hollow, they're getting pretty solid around here. So.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we might have a little bit of extra here, but don't mind that, anyways. So, as far as what you guys are wanting to get done here, aside from an EP and getting the drummer going, what is it you guys want to do? You want to do more shows, more local shows, more stuff like that?
Yeah, we definitely, as soon as we get a drummer.
We're just doing
yeah, it's always-
we're just doing a little podcast right now.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
yeah, come on in and join.
What kind of, you don't want disturbed?
No, you're fine.
We're good.
What's it about?
Music.
Music.
Music?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you
Awesome!
guys listen? Be our live audience, and maybe you can chime in if you hear
So,
something you
so
like.
that means you're here covering Strangled Darlings and the Toby Brown
I
band.
don't know.
Toby
anything.
Brown.
Maybe I don't know.
See, we're tossing in more things, so there we go.
Keep digging.
It's all about the show. So, but anyways,
It's all about the show.
yes, it is. So, what kind of, venues are you looking to play? Like Rascals, the Beer Stew
Right.
shows?
I mean,
The Mark.
the Mark.
Yeah, the Mark, definitely.
the iWireless Center.
Anywhere,
I'm
anytime.
sorry. Yeah, what was I thinking?
Yeah,
iWireless Center.
that's the main goal. So, it shouldn't be that hard to get on that, right?
Nah.
No, not at all. Just doing those 97x exposure things.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think we're at the point right now that we're just ready to get out there and, if we're playing in front of 5 people or, 500 people, it's not going to make a difference to us as long as somebody's hearing our music and, that's what we're all about right now is getting our sound out there and, just it's baby steps really.
Yeah, it's always good to see, guys that love what they do, keeping with what they do and trying to keep going. Like I said, like you guys said, you were writing and recording, so that's always awesome to see. And best of luck to your drummer search. Maybe Herb Morgan can fill that. So
Hey, yeah. Even if you can play a couple shows for you guys.
yeah.
I compare him to what Herb's idolized drummer is. The guy for Vince Neil,
Oh, Zoltan Chaney.
Zoltan Chaney.
You guys know who Zoltan
Zoltan.
Chaney is?
No, but he's got a cool name.
If you
Look him up.
Mickey Hart.
Mickey Hart.
Mickey Hart is Herb Morgan's.
Zoltan Chaney beats the living fuck out of his drum set.
Yeah.
I mean, no, dude, I can't even explain, when
He uses his feet to
Yeah.
kick the cymbals.
Yeah,
instead of
to
instead of the
kick
drumsticks.
the hi-hats. He uses his feet.
And this
It's
is why I
insane.
like the show, guys, because I learned
I
stuff
will
that
post
never-
I'll post a video when because he plays with Vince Neil is a solo act when they all do fly-in dates obviously, so they don't bring gear, they rent gear, and whenever they rent gear they send them like a 3-page thing of liability saying we're not responsible for what happens to these drum sets. We'll put down a deposit, blah blah blah. But you need you watch his videos so you understand what he does to these drum sets. It is sick. Like he will use his stool. He gets up, takes a stool, hits the cymbals, down, throws up his drumstick, smashes the cymbal, and doesn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
It's
he,
like
he uses his feet a lot.
Yeah, a lot. A lot.
Interesting.
Like
I don't think I've ever
he'll
heard
rest it
anybody
up
do
on
it.
the hi hat and still drum, but he's still it's sick.
It's like a
sick.
kick cymbal.
Yeah,
So
it's sick. It's awesome. Watching
that's
him do
pretty
that.
interesting.
Zoltan Chaney.
Zoltan Chaney.
I'll
In relation to Dick.
Or
Dick
lawn.
Cheney.
Not that I know of.
We all have relations to Dick.
I was going lawn. Cheney.
Oh, there you
Totally
go.
different.
Monsters. There you go, sir. Awesome. So, if you guys don't mind, thank you for coming on and sharing, man. Cause
Oh, absolutely.
like I said, man, and
Thanks for having
you
me.
guys can always come back on as guests and join in on the,
And join in this conversation.
Yeah.
on reviews.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
which is our next segment, which is what we jump into. We are doing our pick of the week segment again, and Nez was kind of on me about not doing my homework again. But I did it because I'm a fan of Weezer. And
I'm a
obviously-
school teacher. I know I'm
yes.
a gym teacher, but I'm still a school
You can give homework, but I'm saying I know enough to get by on this one because I skipped the Cure to go, most of the Cure to go see Weezer, and I'll be quiet, whatever.
I love Wizard
Hold on.
too.
Hold on here before we go on any further on this
Oh,
one.
sure, here we go.
If you're at Riot Fest and you have a chance to see The Cure,
You gotta remember.
hold on.
Okay. All right.
You guys know The Cure, right?
Yeah.
And you know Weezer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are you gonna go see?
The Cure.
This,
Weezer. I guarantee it.
please.
Yeah.
See?
Okay,
Most
see,
likely.
this
Weezer.
is, there you
Now,
go.
I'm just gonna say it in time out here.
I love hash pipe.
There you go.
And I do too.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I
Is that you're
smoke
gonna have a
hash
better
pipe
chance
and
of
go see The
seeing.
Cure.
You have a better chance of seeing Weezer one day play at the Adler Theater. You'll never see The Cure play anything smaller than a football stadium.
Yeah,
Not anymore.
That's a fact.
Not anymore.
true.
Like-
And
I don't like
to,
crowds.
to further add on to Nez's shit giving to me, I am planning to go see Weezer the day after the Melvins in Des Moines. So there you see, I can see the death stare already. So
I don't know.
Yeah,
He's giving that teacher stare.
That's that
I'm
generational
just-
thing, because I wouldn't walk across the street to see Weezer. If they were playing down here, I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll go downstairs and watch them. But I would, because I parked across the street, so I would go. I mean, then maybe I would,
just because you're walking by,
just because I'm going by, you know. But I mean, I would drive to Des Moines to see The Cure.
well, of course. I mean,
But it's
I
a
think a
generation.
lot of people would.
And that's what Barney pointed out. I was like, it's such a big. I don't know. I'm more close in age with these guys than I am with you guys. But when I worked with Dan at Co-op, it was all Cure all the time for like 2 weeks straight, and it just beat into my head. Not a bad thing, obviously. I think Disintegration is one of the best records of all time. But
Now,
it's just one of those things. I mean, even like the new stuff. I think the self-titled record that came out when I worked there was amazing too. Sorry, I thought about it right before I said it.
Oh, you almost said it, or no, you did say it.
I
But
did say it.
anyways,
I said
Anyway,
amazing.
let's go about
So,
let's talk about
anyways,
the Brown album.
let's talk about the Green album. You know, like boogers. But anyways, not boogers. I think the Green they were talking about in this one was a little bit of the hashish there. So, but their lead single was Hash Pipe off of that album, which obviously. The thing about this album is I went with more towards not so much the album itself, but the time frame that took place between 1996 and 2001. Obviously, I was a kid, but I knew what Weezer was when I was growing up. Got to see their videos on the MTVs, so when it actually played videos. But it was in 2001 when I was in junior high, and I saw these. Look at guys, is very aged right now, and it was just pretty awesome to see this band like
I already
shredding.
had 2 kids in 2001.
Did you already? All right,
Yeah.
there you go. So.
First year of high school.
Yeah.
So and I
Yeah,
was
both of you.
and they came out with this Green album, and what it was the first album with Mikey Sharp or Mikey Welsh. Matt Sharp was their previous bassist, but he had left the band.
Is he the one that died?
No, Mike Welsh was, and he was. This was the only album that he was on, because not even like all through the promotion of the album, he ended up leaving the band anyways, and he ended up committing suicide. I think not too far after, a couple of years later, because he was trying to go off and do his own thing and do an art thing, and it was actually in Chicago with the Hard Rock. So pretty interesting. But anyways, back to the album. And the one I wanted to bring up was the Island in the Sun video, because there was 2 versions of it. There was one that they brought in Spike Jonze to direct, minus Mikey Welsh, which was like in the Simi Valley of California, and they had animals, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
But the one that doesn't really get shown a lot is the one with Mikey Welsh in it that they're at what your wife would probably call a chickenista. It's actually a wedding, but it's a Mexican wedding. They're in a yard and they're eating tacos and all that stuff. But I guarantee you, if you were to show your wife this video, she'd call it a chickenista. So.
Chickenista. Can we talk about the chickenista for a second?
Sure. Bring the chicken.
When Victor and I first started working together at Dankman School, and I'd only known you for just that school year.
Yeah.
And he came up and you came over to the house and delivered me an invitation to your sister's quinceañera.
Quinceañera, yeah.
All right, and I was like, oh, thanks. And Victor left. And I was like, I've never met Victor's sister in my life. I've only known Victor for maybe 3-4 months or whatever else. So the invitation sits on the table or whatever else. And one day Amy's cleaning the house and she picks it up and she's like, "Are we going to Victor's sister's chickenista or not?"
Yeah. And that's where chickenista was part. So I pretty much refer to any Mexican event, festivity, as a chickenista. Just because Inez is wife, so there's that. But yes, the video was of a chickenista, as I like to say. But
it's funny that you mentioned that song because you remember the movie Out Cold with
yes,
that was the song for that movie.
Yeah, because they kept playing it because it was back in his
right. He couldn't not listen to that song. It always reminded him of that girl.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Zach Galifianakis was in that movie, and that's where I know him from before Hangover and all that stuff. So the scene where they have the I can't wait to explain. We're just not even going to. But anyways, the scene where he's in the car and they're rotating it and they jump in.
That's a classic prank.
I'm surprised I haven't seen that on a movie since. So, but it's been great. But the Green Album was awesome, man. It was part of my coming up and expanding into different things, and because when I was a kid, all I wanted to listen to was whatever was on the radio, which just happened to be Spice Girls and En Vogue and all that stuff.
I was a Spice Girls fan.
Thank you.
They used to call me Old Spice.
Yeah, you were the unofficial sixth member.
We go karaoke with them for the first time, whatever.
That's right.
Bust out Spice Girls. I'm like, what the fuck's going on right now?
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, people love that.
Those songs end up being the best karaoke songs.
Corey's he's a karaoke fool.
Are you?
Guilty. Yeah,
hey man,
guilty.
I'm telling you, it's fun.
The Darkness, I Believe in a Thing Called Love. Go-to song.
Yes, if you can hit that high note, good for you. So.
Hit it right now.
There's young children in the room.
Their ears are going to bleed.
He doesn't want to scare them away.
But that was my pick. That was my pick of the week, and it's just something simple, something easy. It brought him back into popularity, because they had that hiatus from '96 to 2001, and it was nice to see it. Ever since then, I mean, I think it's more of I think they're kind of one of those bands that you just you love to follow anyone. Nez doesn't love to follow.
I have nothing against Weezer at all. Nothing.
Just
nothing
the fact that I went.
No, it's just that I always had this in the back of my mind. Victor walked out on The Cure playing the whole Disintegration album to go see Weezer.
No, it wasn't that. They didn't play the whole thing.
They did.
Well, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Did you look at the set list? They played a bunch of stuff.
They might have cut maybe one song off of Disintegration.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought they were doing the trilogy that time.
I thought they were going to do the trilogy, so, but anyways,
String them together.
But that was
Edward 16 hands.
yeah. Wait, what? Did you say what?
Edward 16.
Oh yeah.
Because they're 16.
But Nez, I saw you posted that Reeves Garbles is going to be
Gabriel's, yeah.
Gabriel's,
Yeah, he's going to be at Fizz's. Is that right?
Yeah.
I've never been there before. Have you been to Fizz's?
What's Fizz's?
It's a bar and grill
In Chicago?
Yeah.
No, dude. It's been longer than in Chicago than I've been here. So.
Yeah, well, the thing is about Reeves Gabriel's, I don't know if you guys know anything about him, was before he joined The Cure, he was a solo artist, but he was in Tin Machine, with David Bowie and Tin Machine. And to listen, if you guys haven't listened to Tin Machine before, go home, get on YouTube, and listen to Under the God. And that guy was cutting edge guitar player, still is cutting edge guitar player. It's almost like he has to scale it down to be in The Cure. It's like he's even too good to be in The Cure. That's how cutting edge he is. So
Well, that would be an interesting show. I think it's like on a Tuesday though, so I can't make it up. So
yeah, I probably won't either.
if you guys get a chance to go to that show in Chicago, go for it. So, but Weezer's Green Album 2001, that was my pick of the week. So let's see. How are we gonna do? Let's go with Quake today, man. You got yours.
The Pride of Barstow.
Pride of Barstow.
We need when we introduce him, we need a drum roll.
You know, it's funny too because a sound of a go-kart would do very well in introducing Jake, because what I would get out of, because when I was teaching at Aldrin Junior High in the afternoons, that's where I had Jake at. Jake's house was literally across the gravel road in Barstow, and so I'd get out of I'd go to my car, and there's Jake, and his parents had a big backyard, right?
Yeah,
At the time, he had some go-kart. He would ride laps, endless, just go around in
Had a
circles.
fucking
It was
dirt
just,
track in my yard.
it was just endless dirt track NASCAR every day.
I lived up to it. If I
That's
was,
pretty badass. I was.
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things right now. Like
I got busy watching it.
I'd kill to live in that house now.
Yeah.
Just have all that space. Dude,
Is that
seriously.
school still out there though?
Oh, it's like but it's not a school no more.
What is it now?
I don't
Is it
know.
a lumberyard or something?
It's probably like a junkyard. Probably cars just chilling out there.
It's a crack house, actually.
Probably yeah. That's where all the crackheads go to hang out.
So it's like a crack duplex now.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah,
crack
yeah.
house. It's a
Yeah.
little better than the
Well,
house.
and if you guys didn't know this, but when Jake was like 14 years old, he was like the anointed mayor of Barstow.
Yeah. I ran shit. I ran shit in that.
Yeah, don't mention the word mayor around this. He'll get
That's what I've
he'll
heard.
get all ass chapped about it.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, Bobby Thornton is the man, but he's no mayor of the Quad City Music Hall.
I still think it's Mayor McCheese. Anyway,
Jeez.
so
Mayor
so what?
McNez.
So Quake, what do you got for us today, man?
Alkaline Trio.
Oh yeah, that's right. So,
Yeah, it's good shit.
oh, of course.
And we got Nez over there. It's like
If they weren't from Illinois, Jake would have no interest in it.
false. Actually, I got stories about this. The reason I picked this.
About the game from Illinois.
Stories.
Are you sure they're not?
Is it something to do with about Aurora? Because
No, one story takes place in. I got two. One's quick. One takes place in Springfield.
it's far away from Chicago.
Yeah, that's where I was at.
They call that downstate.
Yeah, everything
One
else
took
is
place
like-
in that dog food factory of Clinton, Iowa.
Wait. Oh yeah, I think you did mention this one once.
Did I? Have I mentioned this one?
To me, I think you did one.
I must have been really drunk then.
Go for it.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
really share
probably
the story.
You were.
Okay, so this record kind of came to me twice. The first time is when I worked at Co-op. My buddy John Ely used to come in all the time.
John Ely, the wrestling coach from Moline High School?
No, just a kid I grew up with in high school. Huge Alkaline Trio fan. He's like, dude, you need to listen to him, whatever. So like we'd cruise around his car, like being 16, 17, 18, just kind of hanging out, listen to it. It didn't really sink in then. It was good, you know, but didn't have that like grab me by the balls type of thing like it does now.
Okay, can I just have a time out here one
Yeah,
second?
can we?
Did those people that were just in here, did they just like stick out like a sore thumb, like they had no business being at Rostock's Cafe right now?
Yeah.
It's probably because
What's going on?
My question
there's a
is,
show down there.
when you
so-
ask somebody to be quiet and they're loud as fuck, can't you kill them? Isn't that technically okay in this state? Oh, if it was Texas.
Oh, yeah, it's fair.
Texas,
It was Texas, yeah.
Texas.
All right, back on with
I'd be like,
Aurora.
I'm standing on my ground.
Okay, so
Sorry.
no, you're good, dude. So like, it didn't really stick with me at all. It was just kind of like it was good, you know. I bought the damn thing, but it just kind of hung out. Then I had a friend of mine
Who was still loud? Walking down the stairs.
still
Sorry.
crappy ass neighbors.
She was never young and niggas money.
They're buying. So anyway,
This is going to be like
sorry.
a 2-hour podcast
Yeah, it
with
is.
Thompson.
So my friend was going to school down in Springfield, and we were bullshit back and forth. She's like, "Well, why don't you come down and hang out for a week, and we'll cruise around, go to shows or whatever." I'm like, "All right, that's fine." So we go down there, and it was in her CD player in her car, and we just like seriously drove around for like the 2 days I was down there. We just go check out shit in Springfield.
There you go.
And it just like from that moment on, it just like it was there. Like I was like, man, I can relate to every one of these fucking songs.
Yeah.
There's 12 songs on it, and you can probably personally relate some way, somehow, to every single song.
Really?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. There's a song about, like, first time ever going, like, Skibbo's first time going to San Francisco. Talking about how he has to go back, because it was, like, he lives there now. So, I mean, it ends up coming to fruition.
Does he have to wear some flowers in his hair when he goes to San Francisco?
Drive a hybrid car.
He's a vegan, so I think that kind of fits in.
Does he live in the
kind of people
Full
can't be
House?
No, I want to live in
You
the
guys
Full
are
House
vegans, right?
house.
I think everybody.
Okay, cool. Because fucking people can't be trusted.
Who can't be trusted?
Vegans. Are you vegan? What about? Okay, well.
I tried it for 3 days. It was terrible.
These guys are an anti-vegan diet. We're just talking about this before
Yeah,
we got here. They're on
Atkins
Atkins
diet.
right now, so it's to eat meat all day, every day. Best diet in the fucking world.
Real quick, you know Oreos are vegan.
Is that right?
Oreos are vegan. I'll just leave it at that. But back to San Francisco.
Back to
Was it the paleo diet?
Yeah, I think so.
The Oreo paleo.
Is that where you eat cake, man?
paleo diet? Has something to do with their clubs, I'm sure.
Roger that.
Roger that.
You kill the food with your cup. Me want food. Me want Oreos.
what does this have to do with alkaline
That's
chain?
what happened.
Because
Well, you remember what happened last week? I'm talking about propaganda. Fucking Thompson goes off about midgets.
Oh yeah, he's gonna kick him around, right?
Yes,
I
yes.
listened to your guys' classic,
Somebody listens to it.
I did.
I'm sitting
You
there trying to
guys,
spread
you
the
know?
gospel of propaganda. If you guys haven't listened to propaganda, do yourself a favor and do that tonight. But I'm trying to spread the gospel. Thompson's talking about he put an ad on Craigslist trying to bang a midget. And I'm like,
He was on his phone like, you gotta check this out, dude.
I know.
Because I'm
Like,
sitting next to him like this. He's like, look at this. Pulled out. He's sitting there doing his thing. I started busting up laughing. I was like, dude. So I was like,
I was
all right,
just
hold on
getting
a
to the
second.
part too where they talk about propaganda is a big human rights activists and things like that. And he's talking about kicking the midget around the hotel room
Like a fucking soccer ball.
like a soccer ball. Anyway, Alkaline Trio.
Oh,
Yes.
all right. Are we going? All right.
We're going.
Let's power through this.
Heal your soul. Go ahead.
See, I lost my chain of fucking thought.
So
You're in
the
San
12
Francisco.
12
This is San
songs.
Francisco.
Yeah. And then, like I said, you can relate to each one. Like, there's one song called "As You Were,"
Yeah.
where it's about like wishing revenge on somebody and how like pitiful you really are for doing so. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Especially a dumb bitch. Fuck yeah.
Do we get to speak to each one of these? Because I don't think revenge is always a bad thing.
Not necessarily, but
It depends on what they did to you.
yeah, fair enough.
And depends
I
on
mean,
kind
if
of
the dude,
person
if the
you
dude
are.
caught you in line at Ryan's Steakhouse, okay, no, you're not gonna want him dead, right?
Well,
But
if
like,
it's a
say
medium
like-
well steak.
But say like some dude took your old lady, and then your dog, and then plays better guitar than you, or something like. Then yeah, I mean, I'm.
All right, I didn't know we were-
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
Johnson.
now we're getting to. Oh, is this.
Okay, here, time out. When you talk about revenge, 7th grade year, I got sucker punched by a kid.
Yeah, you did.
It broke my nose.
Yeah.
That's ass beating. I'm sorry.
No. That's sucker punch. That gentleman ended up growing up dying of brain cancer. Is that a fair enough? I got sucker
take it.
punched.
Yeah.
He gets brain cancer and dies.
It's karma. I mean, it's
You get punched in the nose, you get brain
I
cancer.
know it was 7th grade. I mean, I got sucker punched.
yeah, but I mean, it's not like he said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna punch you in the nose." No, he went bitch style and punched him without him knowing.
He tapped me on my shoulder and wham.
Oh, he was like,
Well, then he
"Yes, you can borrow my
deserved it.
pencil," and then pow, you got fucking Mike Tyson nose. Well, yeah, that's what's up.
I don't know. Is death equal to a broken nose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what else? What else did he do in life?
That's true.
I don't know.
Obviously, you weren't the only
Yeah,
person who's
God.
wrong. I mean, if it was just you,
guy
he
shit
would have got
ass.
like a flesh-eating virus on his testicles or something like that. Then he'd have been like, "Oh, Nez, I'm sorry," you know. But no, he must have done some other kind of shit, like "My name is Earl" kind of shit.
So,
Anyway, healed your soul.
Jake, I dig this one with you because I've always enjoyed Skiba's vocals.
And there was one thing like I've preached on here before. I love lyrics that actually have a meaning besides some random bullshit.
Yeah.
No, something I can relate to. And I mean, I know there's songs in here about like his buddy talking about committing suicide all the way through, and he's like talking to him about it. It's like, yeah, I understand what you're going through. He goes, you know, just shit like that. The last story though I have, we're in Clinton, is the first time I saw that band Cheese Pizza. For any of you who've ever seen them, a little party band. So I was shit faced, and don't drink and drive. But I did.
What are you looking at me for? You think maybe I have done that in my life? Is that what you're saying?
I was thinking was it the last pod? No, that was 2 podcasts.
2 podcasts ago when you were when we had the bottle of wine.
I was straight. I drove right home.
This
Y'all
guy
don't understand. It's in my nature.
He killed the bottle of wine before he went home. So.
It wasn't just a bottle of wine.
No, that was the last
That was
of
like
it.
the beer. There was all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've got the soul of a Viking.
He's drunk right now.
I was drunk when I got here. No, I really wasn't.
But anyways, Cheese Pizza, drinking and driving. Don't drink and drive.
No, so it's
Don't
me
eat cheese
and
pizza and drive.
me and 3 other friends. We were getting ready to leave. We're walking out the door, getting a fight with 2 guys because they think we hit them or some shit, like with the car. He's having issues over here.
Because I can't look at Matt right now.
Just stare at your girlfriend in the window.
Like, damn, man.
She's
And
got a nice butt.
so, whatever, we get in the car. I'm somehow the most sober or one
Out
at
of
the
all the
time.
drunk people.
I guess I think I'm sober enough. I'm the one that gets voted to drive.
Okay.
Good idea. But anyway, so I'm going through this chick's. Yeah, see, that's probably what could have happened.
Going through her what?
Going through.
Going through her draws.
Going through her CDs, I'm like, oh, God damn it. Throw it in. So it's just us cruising these back roads in Clinton to get home. 'Cause I was drunk, I didn't know where the fuck we were going. I just followed the fucking Mississippi, hoping we'd get home eventually.
Did you guys go through Fulton?
Yes.
Ooh, you did take the back
That's a little
roads.
different
Yeah.
than regular Mississippi.
Yep.
Fucking
Yep. And
Mississippi.
we're cruising down, and so we're just blasting, goddamn it, like singing at the top of our lungs, just yelling. And we get home like at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was like one of the best times I've ever had. Hey,
How's
what's
it
up,
going,
guys?
guys?
Good, how are you?
Fabulous.
So,
So that's my little story.
so this is one of those albums that you have no problem throwing on at any time. Just
No, I mean, it's
Yeah.
inked on me for life. I
oh,
mean,
there you go.
it's one of those albums that, like I told you when we started doing this pick of the week bullshit.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like it, I just call it bullshit. But
Oh, we can go back to
He's got
this.
bad.
no. I know. I like this format.
Gotcha.
You've known him a long time. Has he always been like this?
Kind of.
He's always been like
Get a
this.
backstory. I don't know. I mean, he had a fucking go-kart. I think he'd be in a good mood a
The
lot.
majority of me and Jake's adolescence was playing PlayStation 2 wrestling games.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's because there's nothing else to fucking do.
Here comes the pain.
Juggalo wrestling in the backyard.
Wrestling in the
Jake,
sipping on Fago.
I'll never forget it though. You had to create a character of your girlfriend at the time. I'm just wondering if you deleted that character after you guys broke up, or did you keep her around so you could like
I
wrestle?
beat the fuck out of her.
That's what I was
I'm
like.
trying to think of who that was.
Please come back.
Sorry, Jake.
Stone Cold Stunner.
We won't mention any names. We'll just. We'll
Was
leave
it scary?
Like I said, we won't
Yeah, I
mention
had to
any
be
names.
Scary
but
Terry then.
Scary Terry.
He went.
All right, man. Well, thanks, Jake.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Listen to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I've listened a lot about Alkaline Trio.
You need to listen to Goddamn It front to back.
We
That's what you
will,
need to do.
because I know my buddy has pretty much all of their, albums on digital media. So
You know, I like Aurora. I like Aurora, Illinois a lot.
Do you know why this
Captain
song?
Random?
Okay, all right, hold on. We're gonna put this to rest real quick. They have a song on their second record called "Fuck You, Aurora." And it's not like he's saying that he's pissed off at the fucking city of Aurora.
Okay, when you say those words combined with something else, let's interject another proper noun in there.
Okay.
Fuck you,
Jake Turner.
Jake Turner. That's not a say how you doing kind of thing. That's I'm angry at you, Jake Turner.
Well,
well, it's
not.
trying to
you shake your
explain.
finger.
But what if I just made a funny joke like fuck you, Jake?
Don't ever do that to me because that's one of my triggers.
Oh.
I don't
Say
like
fuck
that.
you, Jake.
Yeah,
No,
we're gonna, making jokes. We're gonna have a little spiel. I like you.
Put it on Facebook. Huh?
That's how we're gonna do it. And I'm gonna have to instant message you.
So don't worry, Nez. Aurora is safe for now, I believe.
I like
Okay.
Aurora.
Okay, so real quick, what it is, all this really is about is his friend that moved from Chicago to Aurora. It took his only friend. The first time I heard it, I thought it was about the dude died in a car accident, because it talks about I'll never.
Come back to you again or something.
Yeah, but it talks about what car. Fuck, I can't think about it right
Yeah,
now.
A Toyota Corolla.
No, it was like a Mercury or
Probably.
something.
Mercury Cougar.
Fuck, I don't remember.
Mercouur. Was it a Mercouur?
What
That'd
now?
be cool. You guys don't know what those are because you're too young.
Mercours, I love Mercours, man.
Mercours were badass
Yes, they
cars.
were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were back in the day. They were owned by Mercury.
The Geo.
but
Which was owned by Ford.
was owned by Ford, but they were called AmeriCorps. They were badass.
Oh, we have a car podcast now?
No,
Do we
that was a
detail
Gremlin.
cars?
It's a sex lovers and not like
Yeah,
car.
sex lovers. Yes. Well, by the way, guys, we also run a sex loving Facebook page.
As long as it has to do with Katy Perry and
Yeah,
what's her name?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Oh my god, I can't stand Taylor Swift. And I put that on the Facebooks. I can't stand her.
On Facebook.
I
On
wish
the
she'd fall down
interwebs.
the stairs. I really
I'm
do.
under the impression she has a beautiful vagina. That's it.
Was it you that posted something about
You don't like
which one of you?
Where are we going with this? This is a throwaway.
This is a
Hold on a second.
living
There's gonna be a fight.
host. Yeah.
Wrestling match.
I don't wrestle.
For the
That guys
second
don't
time.
wrestle because we get winded real fast.
All right, well, can we go on with the?
Yeah. So
I'm
No,
I'm
I just
done.
I feel like
Tangent stuff.
there's a.
I love Alkaline Trio. They
Yes,
got an inch on my arm.
I just don't want
blah,
to diss
blah.
in Aurora because I do
I
like
can't
that.
like your man
city.
now. I'm sorry.
It's a kick-ass
I like
song,
you
though. I mean,
guys.
if
That's the general.
yeah,
Yeah.
these two are the ones that Chad and Brett are the ones that the people like the most.
Brett and CC.
I'm not
Alright.
afraid to admit that I've seen
That's his
Taylor
new name,
Swift
by the
live
way.
in concert. I'm not afraid to admit that.
My
But guess
sister-
what? I bought the T-shirt.
I'll come
There
to your
you
shows
go.
just to scream CC at you.
next show we're all gonna be there just hanging out. Seriously.
With Poison t-shirts on.
And now something that doesn't have anything to do with CC. What do you got for us, Wilkins?
I was inspired to pick this album because of Nez's pick last week with Bill Ward.
Yeah,
I picked Iommi.
Oh.
Iommi's solo album.
that was actually 2 weeks ago. 2 episodes.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Okay, well, I was drinking a lot, so it's no big deal. But this
So you were
album
there.
took 5 years to record.
Really?
But if you listen to the songs, every one of them is sonic. There is not a bad song on this album. He records with Henry Rollins,
Yep.
Skin from Skunk and Nancy, Brian May, Dave Grohl, Phil Anselmo, Serge Tankian, Matt Cameron from Soundgarden's on it, Billy Corrigan, Ian Astbury, Peter Steele,
Yep.
and Ozzy Osbourne and Bill Ward, and Billy Idol. This album, the first song I ever heard from this album was Laughing Man and Devil Mask with Henry Rollins.
Yep.
I heard it on The Point, which was a radio station
St.
in
Louis,
St.
right?
Louis. Yeah, very good.
Sure.
And so, we're friends again. I heard it on The Point, and I was like, oh my god, this is a new Kick-Ass Rollins Band song. Because if you listen to it, it's like, the good thing about Tony Iommi is, and this is one of those kind of things where it makes you think, is Tony Iommi one of the greatest guitar players of all time, or is he just that fucking good musically? Because when he took these songs, each one of these songs, it's like he took the vocalist, whoever he's working with, and himself, and they sat down and wrote the song. And each one of these songs sounds like a song that band could have played. So like the song you played with Rollins Band sounds like a Rollins Band song, but it's like the heaviest Rollins Band song you'd ever hear. The song he does with Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters is just, it's like something you could hear them playing, but it's like the heaviest song you'd ever hear them play. And so, and like I said, it took 5 years to record. And it's one of those things that it's like, oh my gosh, when you hear it, do yourselves a favor, you can play you can go to YouTube, put Iommi, and you can listen to the whole album on YouTube. I was doing that on the way down here.
Now, is the fact that it took 5 years, was it because it had all this talent on it?
Well, this was that was part of it, and it was right around. There are talks in here about the time at 2001 with they're having, they retired in '99, then they came back, and Black Sabbath came back in 2001, and they were in the middle of doing this and that and the other thing, and this kind of spawned another reunion with Black Sabbath with Ozzy and Bill Ward playing on one song, and then they decided, oh, okay, well, let's go ahead and do it again. I got this thing Ozfest. Let's make it happen. So then that happened at the same time, or around the same time. So, but like I said, I mean, just ironically enough, the only song that really did any good was the song he did with Dave Grohl.
Mm-hmm.
It charted at like 10. You listen. I mean, you just listen to it. My gosh, it's he talks about how he wrote extra songs with Billy Idol. I mean, I'd love to hear those. He wrote 2 or 3 songs with Billy Corgan. And listen to the songs he wrote with Billy Corgan. My gosh, the song on this album it's creepy. Billy Corgan is a creepy bastard. I don't care what who you say about anything. He's not one of those kind of guys. If your daughter brought him home, you guys don't have kids. I understand. Well, you have one. Two. These guys are like 15, but that's okay. But if he was to walk in the house with your child, I mean, you'd be going for something to kill him with. So that's but when you listen to his music, it's like, oh my gosh, you can tell that he's got something musically.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, because I haven't done any research on it. Because I have all 3 albums. I have the Depth Sessions and the Fused album. How does the Depth Sessions and then Fused go correlation with this album? Was there any literature on that?
I think this is. I think Fused is after this. I think.
Depth Sessions was the first
Yes.
of the incarnation of
Yeah, I
Iona.
think this might be number 2, and then Fused is after. I think. Because does Fuse have Glenn Hughes?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's after.
Okay.
This. But when I heard that it was actually a Iommi album and not another Rollins band, I was kind of bummed out. But at the same time, I was like, okay, well, I need to check this out then. And then when you hear the other songs, the song he does with Serj Tankian from what the hell's it guy?
System of a Down.
Thank you very much. I'm too old. The mind goes. But no, the song he does. I mean, I dare you to find a bad song on this album. The worst song on this album is the one he does with Billy Idol, because at the end of the song, I think Billy was just trying to fill time because he says the same thing over and over and over again. But it's still a great song up to that point. So that was my pick. Like I said, I chose this one specifically because of what Nez chose 2 weeks ago with the Billboard.
And here, we were talking about the Deep Purple family tree and the Black Sabbath family tree or whatever else. And it's like, you youngins here, it's like this the Iommi trilogy of the Depth Sessions, the self-titled, and the Fused is another one of those branches off the Black Sabbath tree. And I don't know about what you think, Matt, but I think the Depth Sessions is probably the best of all 3.
Yeah, it lends itself to the genius that Tony Iommi really is. And everybody wants to talk about Ozzy Osbourne and how great he is and everything else. Ozzy Osbourne would still be doing whatever he was doing in England if it wasn't for Tony Iommi.
Yep.
Because Tony Iommi, hands down, is one of the most amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, not sorry.
Well, whatever.
one of the
Just use it.
Super badass. Hell yeah. But you talk about the trilogy or the family tree on the song that Ozzy plays with Bill Ward. The bassist is Lawrence Cottle, who was the bassist on the Headless Cross Black Sabbath.
That's right.
So,
Which was, it's kind of weird because they say it was Neil Murray that was the bass player on that album.
yeah, but it wasn't. It was
No.
Phil Cottle.
Yep.
So another, branch in the family tree that'll never amount to anything.
Yep.
You having a fit, man?
Yeah, He's like,
I need to see this
All of a sudden-
papers on it.
no, I had that.
Snakes.
Have you ever had that thought? You locked your keys in your car and you're like, wait a
I
minute.
did today. That's why I
Yeah,
didn't
just
do my
like, wait a
homework.
minute.
He didn't have that thought.
But again, another interesting pick that I'm looking forward to checking out because just kind of
Yeah.
those albums like the Bill Ward album. That
I've got all of these songs on my phone digitally.
So
It's one of those things where it'll follow you around. I had the CD. I left my CDs at my home when I lived in Godfrey when I moved, and then they had the fire there. So all of my whole CD collection basically got destroyed. So it blows.
Yeah.
But I'm
we should have them now on the phone.
yeah. I've got.
It's not
But
like
some of
having
the-
it in your fingers.
Yeah.
Some of the other, just to mention some of the names, some of the drummers, it's like a who's who at that time. Joey Tempesta plays on it. Jimmy Copley plays on it. Matt Cameron plays on it. Kenny Aronoff plays on it. And of course Bill Ward. So, it's one of those kind of things where it's like, hey, who's the best guys out there right now? Let's put them on this album.
Well, when you're 20, you get whoever the hell you want.
Pretty much. So Nez, really quick, are these pretty tough to find as far as this
It's
goes?
not.
The Iommi
The
stuff.
Iommi album is not.
The Iommi album, what Matt is talking about is not. But the Iommi Depth Sessions and the Iommi Fused album, both with Glenn Hughes on vocals, it's a little harder. It's a harder catch to find.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of like when Santana did his album with all the guest vocalists.
Yeah.
that's why those things. Oh, you're like, oh yeah, heck yeah. But when you do it with just like one vocalist,
Yeah.
then you're like, oh man, I don't know. We won't sell as many of those because it doesn't have Chad Kroger's punk ass on it.
But the crazy thing
Don't
about
talk shit about him.
the crazy thing about the Iommi stuff is that if you can remember, the Black Sabbath 7 Star album had Glenn Hughes on vocals, and the album cover states Black Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi. It was never supposed to be a Black Sabbath album. It was supposed to be the first incarnation of the Iommi
But
name.
I will say one thing. I was listening to it again on the way down here, and the Black Sabbath, or not Black Sabbath, the Ozzy Osbourne song on this album, if you listen to it, it's very much in the same vein of the new Black Sabbath that's come out subsequently since then. So if you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's where they were going musically as a band. So
Very interesting pick, man. I'm excited to give this one
yeah,
a listen.
check it out.
Like
'cause you'll
I
enjoy
do,
it.
man. I mean, all you guys always bring good stuff to the table that I'm glad to easily throw on at any time. So, and that's what we're accomplishing with our podcast, and hopefully you guys are, Corey.
And that's what's cool about bringing these younger guys on too. I mean, I'm giving them a hard time, but these guys are doing what I was doing when I was their age.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of kick-ass. That is still, like I went off on a diatribe last time when we were with Thompson about the music scene in the Quad Cities. I really did. I mean, I was banging my hand on the table kind of a thing. It's not gone. It's still here. And,
It has to be rediscovered again because there's no Uncle Roscoe's anymore.
well, there's not, but they've got, there's Rascals, there's Rascals, and Ribco, and then there's Rascals.
Which coincidentally sounds like Uncle Roscoe's.
Well, yeah.
So
But when we were playing, we had one place to play. That was it. Local bands, they wouldn't let you play at these bars because you would go into these bars, it'd be a bunch of shit kicking rednecks in there wanting to hear you play Leonard Skinner covers. You couldn't go in there and play original music.
That's why there needs to be an establishment similar to what Uncle Roscoe's gave us in the first place.
I went on record last week, and I'll go on record again tonight, and I'm still going to go on record every time. I am still looking into the possibility of starting something for young musicians to come play where they don't get ass fucked every time they go to want to play a show, and they're like, okay, well, you got to sell this many tickets before we leave and let you come in the door, or you guys got to pay X amount of money to play here, because that's bullshit. Clown from... Slipknot did the same thing in Des Moines.
Yeah.
He started a place for Des Moines bands. He actually ended up fucking everybody and saying, you got to pay an exorbitant amount of money to play here at my place, but you'll get all this exposure. Okay? What other bands have you heard of come out of Des Moines? Besides Slipknot. Okay? Exactly my point.
Yeah.
And there's
Stone
so...
Sour.
I digress. I'll come down off my soapbox.
all right. So friends, not friends, friends again, not friends currently. So hopefully by at the end of the episode, Corey, we'll have you again.
He knew the point. That was pretty cool.
So all right, man. So Nez, what do you got to add into this little?
Well,
segment?
this is a great prelude to what Mr. Wilkins just gave us tonight, and I'm going to give you guys an album called Made in Moscow by the Michael Menn Project. And if you guys don't know anything about Michael Menn, he is the deputy mayor of Moscow. And he was so impressed with Glenn Hughes and Joe Lynn Turner with the Hughes Turner Project, he asked them to come in and record an album. All the songs were written by him. All the musicians were Russian professional musicians, and Glenn Hughes and Joe Lynn Turner sang the vocals to it, it was a brilliant thing because it brought exposure to the rock scene in Russia, in Moscow. They have damn good musicians there, and it also let these two legendary vocalists come in and record an album. And now, the Hughes Turner Project was over with. They did 2 albums, and that was it. And they were pretty much studio releases. They did, after the one album, tour Europe, and Glenn Hughes and Joe Lynn Turner played in Moscow and played for the deputy mayor, Michael Menn, and so he was so impressed with what they did, he asked them to come in to sing his songs for him for this rock album, which they did. It was brilliant because there was a little bit of everything in it. There was hard rock, it was heavy metal, it was blues, it was reggae, it was everything mixed into one. It's guitar driven. It was basically the same premise of what the Hughes Turner Project was all about. There was 2 versions that was released in Russia. There was a 9-track CD, and then there was a second version of it. It was the 9-track CD, it was a DVD of the making of the album. I'm glad to say I own 2 copies of this, and it was never for sale in the United States.
Really?
Yes.
Check you out.
Yep.
You own both of those editions that you're talking about there?
I own both second editions with the DVD.
Isn't the coded so you can watch it? Like,
Oh, I can watch it. Yeah, I
well, some of those
watched it.
DVDs are.
No, I've watched it.
Region specific.
There we go.
No, it's fantastic, and yeah, if you guys are not familiar with Glenn Hughes was
awesome.
the bass player for Deep Purple. He was
He's an
also
awesome bass player.
vocalist
Check him
with David Coverdale during the David Coverdale era of Deep Purple.
They were on stage together last night.
We're at.
Someplace in fucking Europe. I don't know.
Oh wow.
All right, so I'm.
It's different than regular Europe. It's a little bit bigger.
Right.
Yeah. No, they got on
What part
stage.
of Europe?
Yeah, they jammed some Def Leppard, Jesus Christ. They jammed some Deep Purple tunes.
Well, because Whitesnake is doing the whole Purple album. thing.
And Glenn Hughes got there with them, and they did it. Glenn Hughes was posting about it on Facebook.
And if any of you guys are not familiar with Joe Lynn Turner was the lead singer for Rainbow.
Yeah.
He did an album, obviously Slaves and Masters for Deep Purple, which we reviewed a couple episodes ago.
I think so.
So they're basically 2 soulful hard rock heavy metal vocalists that bring like a soulful R&B style funk to hard rock.
I really like them, but I cannot get past. My Deep Purple needs to have Ian Gillan singing. That's my Deep Purple. I am just that guy. I am a purist. When I saw Deep Purple in concert, that was right before John Lord retired.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all original members except for obviously Richie Blackmore wasn't there. But I am one of those guys. I'm a purist when it comes to Deep Purple. I would much rather hear Ian Gillan.
Now here's the thing: is like what people and fans and critics will say about comparing Coverdale and Ian Gillan. Ian Gillan was a screamer. He really was.
Oh,
He was a squelcher, I should say.
No, Ian Gillan's got one of the clearest singing voices in rock and roll history.
The difference
He was,
is.
ironically enough, he was the very first Jesus Christ Superstar. He was the first.
Oh,
Christ.
was he really?
Yes.
Oh.
So his singing voice is there. If you listen to his recordings as Jesus Christ on Jesus Christ Superstar, they are crystal fucking clear. If you hear him in concert, he's the same guy on concert that he is on the CDs. He is not a screamer or a squelcher. I will not allow you to say that in my presence.
Well, then I will say this: it was like when David Coverdale was brought on, they compared him, Gillan, to Coverdale. As Coverdale had that soulful voice, Gillan was more of the
David Coverdale is much.
Screech.
David Coverdale is much more of a bluesy kind of
R&B feel when he was in there.
He's got a seductive tone to his voice.
Oh, there you go.
That's more. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
It's a
perfect.
sexier, seductive tone to his voice. I like "Slow and Easy" is one of my favorite Whitesnake songs because of that.
Right.
When you hear that, you're like, oh my gosh! If you were to play that for a girl, she knows what you're thinking. It's not one of those kind of things where you're like, oh hey, I'm gonna kind of. It's an entendre. No, she knows exactly what you're thinking. It ain't about no kind of a
I'm not
tongue-in-cheek.
dissing Ian Gillan at all.
No, but I'm just saying, Ian Gillan for me, it's when I saw Ian Gillan sing, he was an older guy. I saw Deep Purple with Dio and Halford, Rob Halford's band Halford, and I saw them in St. Louis at the Riverfront Amphitheater, Riverport Amphitheater, and it was one of those kind of things where the guy was old and he's still blowing it out. The difference is a lot of the guys that are his age can't do that anymore. And somebody was just talking about how Halford is getting to that point now where he can't do that anymore. He can't sing those songs that he used to sing.
Right.
I mean,
Well, back to the Glenn Hughes and Joe Lynn Turner portion of this is that if you guys are not familiar with it, these guys bring a funk style, a soulful style to hard rock and heavy metal. If you guys haven't listened to it, if you guys
they're
haven't
both very underrated. They're two of the most underrated If they would have had their own projects from the very get-go and not gotten all mixed up into this whole incestuous, bile-ridden pile of rock and roll that is Deep Purple / Sabbath /
Well, it was
Rainbow
all, you're right.
/
It was incestuous. You're right.
you know, if they had their own thing, they would have been superstars.
Yes, they would have been.
So Nez, let me just backtrack. A deputy mayor of Russia?
His name is Mikhail Men,
Uh-huh.
which is, you decipher it in English, and it's Michael Men. And he was the mayor of Moscow.
I just decided to bring this whole project.
He's a professional musician, obviously a politician as well. And then he brought the best hired guns in Moscow or in Russia to record the instrumentation part of the album. And they brought in, and basically, if you ever listen to anything Joe Lynn Turner Project or this album, they're duets. And their voices are so similar.
Yeah.
That sometimes you're like, well, who's just sang that part? Because was that Glenn Hughes? Was that Joe Lynn Turner? Sometimes you have a hard time deciphering.
And see,
especially on this album.
That's the problem. That's why these guys never ever found their own voice. Not to be tongue in cheek about it, but they never found that part of themselves because they were always compared. It was no longer okay. Joe Lynn Turner and Glenn Hughes. No, it was those guys used to be in this band and this band sounded like this before them. So there was always a comparison, and they never got to stand alone. And that was the problem with those two guys because they're great. I mean, they're amazing singers.
And another thing too is that those two guys' egos were huge. Because Glenn Hughes is the reason why there's no such thing as Black Country Communion anymore. His ego tore apart that band.
Black Country Communion was great.
Yeah, and
what they put out 3 records like in 2 years,
Yeah.
something stupid like that.
And basically, for the most part, Joe Lynn Turner was a voice for hire. He sang in Yngwie Malmsteen, Trapeze, Deep Purple, Rainbow, his own stuff. Now, if you guys have heard Rated X, that band that came out with Tony Franklin from Blue Murder and Carl Cochran on guitar. And so he's basically a voice for hire. Even he's pushing 60, I think,
Right.
or if he's not
It's like
60.
Rudy Sarzo.
Yeah, I mean, the guy hasn't lost his voice at all. But these guys, Glenn Hughes and Joe Lynn Turner, basically have been musicians and vocalists for hire their whole careers.
Yeah.
It's been too bad because the stuff that they've done has been cutting edge. I really believe. I don't know what you guys think.
I want to backtrack just for 1 second because you talk about Ian for a little bit. There's that Deep Purple song "Child in Time."
Mm-hmm.
Fucking amazing. And
Right
I
in
know.
his face,
I know. But you want to know why I use that though? The only reason I even heard the song was because of that show. I won't even mention it, but it's because they brought it up for like some of the
When
best.
Joe Lynn Turner was on there, which that metal show was it?
No, it was one of their top 5s. They're talking like best strings in metal,
okay.
and they brought that up. I was like, really? A Deep Purple song. So I had to look it up. I was like, this is
fantastic,
awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, holy shit, it's
Perfect Strangers. If you listen to the song Perfect Strangers, the band that I'm in or trying to put together now is going to cover that song. Forget about it. You can't, what?
Are you gonna
Not yet.
develop or
Not yet. It's developing. It's developing. It's like herpes.
Yeah.
But
Is that gonna flare up here pretty soon?
it's going to flare up soon.
Okay,
I'll let you know.
Same as Remember My Name. They're gonna flare up soon too.
You guys can have a flare up party.
Right on. But no, Perfect Strangers is the same thing. That's a bluesy motherfucker. I don't care who you are. You
Yes,
listen
it
to that
is.
song. That song, I mean, it's every bit of everything that Deep Purple is, and in that one song. And Metallica tried to cover it, and it was a shamble.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
There's been other bands that have tried to cover it, and hopefully when I get something together, it does it justice. We'll see.
And
Well-
you're singing, correct?
Yes.
Nice.
And here's another thing. I don't know how you guys feel about this, and you young guys here, is that I really feel like the blues element of hard rock and heavy metal is like slipping away.
See, it's funny that you say that. I'm glad that you brought that up because that will segue right back to what I was talking about with the band that I am trying to put together right now. I have been listening to a lot of Orchid. I've been listening to a lot of Sleep, a lot of those bands like that. There's a band called Blues Pills. If you haven't heard them, do yourself a favor and go check them out. Because it's another one is Scorpion Child. I heard Scorpion Child Polygon of Eyes is the name of their song that I heard, and it blew me away. Because when I heard it, it's like these guys that wear their bell bottoms and they got their long hair, and you think that this is a band from like 1978, but when they come out, the music they're playing is sonic. That's the only word you can put on it. You can't say amazing, you can't say fantastic, it's sonic. And you hear it and you're like, oh my God. And so that's why when I was like, okay, I'm older, so I'm not going to go out, obviously I'm not going to go out and play thrash metal or any of those kind of things. That's not what I'm into anymore anyway, really. So I was like, what am I going to do musically? And then I'm seeing all of this stuff. So you take these bands like, even some of Typo Negative stuff, the stuff that is not this crazy, heavy, hard stuff, but it's got a blues element. Because, quite frankly, if it wasn't for some very depressed black man in the delta of Mississippi, none of us would be sitting here right now.
Right.
And that lends itself to your point, Nez, that we wouldn't be here without it, and it's going away.
And like Rival Son or Rival Sons, they're a great example of keeping the blues alive in hard rock and heavy metal. Popular music, popular edgy, hard, heavy stuff, you don't hear that anymore.
No, I mean,
a
even
lot of like technical.
Yeah,
fucking
a great
computers.
a great documentary to watch is the Sound City documentary.
Yep.
That Dave Grohl did.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I heard
It's
that.
awesome.
It's on Amazon Prime for free. So if you've got Amazon Prime, watch it because it goes into the whole thing when it talks about when the tape, reel-to-reel tape, was starting to fall away to digital and how it all lost the soul. And there's no soul anymore. Any jackass can sample something and put out a CD. And it's guys like you that are young guys that are coming out and they're actually going out there and you're actually playing what you're writing. There's something to be said about that because even that portion of it, it's so
almost
easy.
gone too.
Yeah, it's so easy to sit back and be like, da-da-da, and then sample it and rewind it and then play it over and over and over again. Oh, I got me a riff right there. Check that out. Yeah. And no, you don't. You got dribble. That's what you have. Right. And so that exactly. Just to go back to what you were saying, Nez, you're absolutely right. And so you look at even the bands that we talk about Guns N' Roses all the time. Guns N' Roses was the dirtiest blues band that ever came out of Los Angeles. That's what they played. If you listen to what Slash played, he played blues licks. I said solos. That's what he played. So
yeah, he did.
That's exactly what he played.
Right. And Izzy was the guy that just kind of was in between, weaving in and out of Slash's guitar work, and that stuff you'll never see that shit again. You really won't because even two guitar rock where it's not just basically follow the leader almost.
Right.
Nobody has those separate parts anymore.
No, they don't. And you look at metal music. I mean, so much of that had fallen away, even with some of the bands that everybody's like, everybody wants to revere Slayer and all of these bands, but there was no. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of originality to do dive bombs for an hour and a half on your tremolo, and that's who I am. I'm badass because I do that. No, you're not. You're really not. When you see somebody who is like Gatemouth Brown, who just passed away recently, I met him in Davenport over at the Blues Fest, and I used to go every year to the Blues Fest in Davenport before I moved away, and I met Gatemouth Brown over there, and there was all these old black guys sitting there with whiskey bottles, and they're playing in this room, and he had a leather-covered Gibson Firebird, and it said Gatemouth on his leather-covered Gibson Firebird, and even the guitar itself, I mean, that you look at it and you're like, oh my God, there it is. I keep doing this. I do this every week now, and I apologize to everyone. I go off on a tangent, and you guys just sit there and look at me and shake your heads.
Oh, it's good.
But it is what it is because we're trying to bring this shit back. I mean, we haven't had anything like this since 99 plus KFMH.
Exactly. I remember before I joined Dr. Mongo, they were on KFMH with Roberto. And I was one of the guys that called in, and I was like, oh, your music's so cool, I dig it. And then they asked me to join their band, And that was right after Bobby Thornton, who was a great friend of mine. I went and saw Bobby play with Resurrection Mary, which was Flowers of Fear before it was Flowers of Fear. It was Resurrection Mary.
So he was in a band with...
He was in a band with Mitch and those guys,
Holy
called
crap.
Resurrection Mary. And
it's all ancestral.
The Quad Cities music scene was very that way. But that's the cool thing because we always would play shows together. but that's the only way you could do it. Because if you didn't do it that way, you couldn't play.
Right, you had to mix
You know?
everybody with everybody just so you
Yeah,
could fill
and
the...
so Flowers of Fear, Dr. Mongo, and Elbow sold out Dr. Roscoe's twice. 500 people capacity in that place. We sold it out twice.
When was the last time anybody here has ever been to a local show that had 500 people in it? I mean,
Think about it.
well, I think the only time I've seen anything close to that...
I can't think of the when I walked out of Uncle Roscoe's and there wasn't at least 2 fights going on the outside.
I remember one time I was underage. I broke up a fight. Ross, I'm a big guy, obviously. So Ross comes in with that gravel truck voice that he had, and he's like, Matt, there's something going on outside. I need your help. So I go busting ass outside, and there's these 2 guys getting ready. They're squaring off. They're getting ready to throw hands. I just walk in the middle of them. I don't know who they are. I put one hand on one dude's chest, one hand on the other guy's chest, and I'm like, knock it off. We're here to have fun. That's not what this is about. And they're like, they sat there for a second, and they're like, okay, and they walked in together. Ross is like, let me buy you a beer. And I'm like, I'm only 18. Let me throw that out there. But I'll happily take it. But
and what the weirdest thing about Uncle Roscoe's is that you had, once again, we had skinheads, we had punk rock guys, and then we had the sharp guys, the skinheads against racial prejudice, and you have the metalheads.
Yeah.
You get that in there together, and it's boiling, and
then
there's
you had
something
the fucking jock frat
the jocks,
stars.
yeah, from Ambrose.
You had the frat stars that would show up because they'd be like, oh, we know all about mosh pits. No, you don't. You want to be wannabes. But, it worked out.
Kind of.
I got knocked square on my ass one night, and I landed on my shoulder, and I fucked my shoulder up, and I was so pissed off. I told a buddy of mine about what happened, and I pointed out the guy that did it, and he got his fucking fronts knocked out. I mean, his teeth were knocked clean out of his face. So...
Yeah. And I kind of... Man, I was born in the wrong time. I think we were talking about this, Nez. Because I would have loved to have gone to these shows, man. Like, just to hear these guys and, some of the guys like Herb and Mitch and Matt coming on talking about these venues. And like, man...
Even the DIY shows that Greg was talking about.
Yeah.
I was at a lot of those shows too.
Greg, yeah.
The biggest local show I ever saw was the last show FKS did, Fork Knife Spoon. It was at a VFW hall, and it was packed. Like
that wasn't here in Rock Island, was it?
Yeah.
Down by the railroad?
Yeah, right before that. It was like
Case IH, right?
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing.
Yep.
There is no excuse. I'm sorry. There is no excuse for anyone who's listening to the sound of our voices right now to not support local music. And even these guys that we're talking to tonight, remember my name. Remember their name, because next time you see their fucking name on a flyer, go see their goddamn show. Exactly. Even if that's not what you like so much, I guarantee you're going to enjoy it because it's local music.
Right, you'll find something about it.
You'll enjoy something.
You'll see a friend there.
And even if it's not local music, if it's something that Ripco's bringing down, support it, because we're only as strong as what we are.
But that's one of the cool things about with Ripco is they'll bring a national touring act in, and they'll have a local band opening up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, forget about I don't care. You could bring not to say the damn name without fear of retribution from Greg Thompson, but you could have Danzig down here, and a local band opening up for it. To hell with him.
Right.
He's been there. He's got his steak dinner. He's got his catering cart. What about the guys that are opening up before him? The guys that haven't been there and that don't have that, Those are the guys that need your support.
Exactly.
And that's why this group is so important. So, if you guys aren't members of the group yet, become members tonight when you go home. And post on there every night because
solicit your stuff.
And
seriously.
be like, oh hey, by the way, we're a local
SoundCloud,
band. Check this out.
Yeah.
My name is Matthew Wilkins.
Solicit.
3 of you guys go on there and and friend me. I will friend you back, and I will push your shit as far as I can.
So
I am local music to the bone.
He is, and I think this is a great stopping point. I hate to bring the night to an end, but we do got
You're a fun killer.
we do got
I know,
lives,
Johnny
we do
Live.
got things coming in. I think there's a show downstairs. That's why we're hearing a lot of traffic. But I want to give a big thank you to the guys, Corey,
Very much.
Brett, Chad, for coming on. Remember my name, so
Thanks
thank
for
you
having
guys.
us. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
So,
We'll have our EP coming out later this year.
Yeah, we get
so.
that EP out. Hopefully maybe you guys can.
But get on that page and
Get on-
pimp it, and
As
pimp
much
it.
as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell them, hey, it's 6 months from now, we're going to have music.
So
4
Here's
months
a
from now,
sample.
there's going to be something. Here's this. Check it out.
This is what it's
So-
for, man. It's your page as well as anybody else's. You know?
Exactly.
Get on
That's
the
why I started it up is for just
Because it's
anybody.
Quad City music.
It's
know,
funny. It started out with like hardly. It was like just a group of like 25 of us. Now there's over 300 people in there from across the world. Like people in Belgium and shit like it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you guys
There's
get
a
on
couple
there,
guys
right?
Pascal Daniels from the Netherlands.
There's a couple guys from,
Tim Krups.
Tim Krebs is
Actually,
no
my
longer a member.
brother-in-law
Come back,
actually
Tim
just
Cross.
like the Facebook page. He lives all the way up in North Dakota. So.
I saw that one. He had the Side C page.
Yeah, he actually has his own podcast, but it's he's a doctor, so he's
Oh.
yeah, we don't care about that shit.
No,
Yeah, no,
No,
get on
but
there and
it's
just,
like the group page.
But he is a deadhead though. He
Oh, is
goes
it?
for that, yeah.
Oh, they like him and my brother get along. Big J's a big deadhead too. I just like smoking pot. I don't necessarily. I don't like the dead so much.
well, maybe you can go
Weed
have
is
some,
awesome.
have some later.
Come to my house. We have some tonight.
But anyways, the guy again. Thank you very much, guys, for coming on.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Hopefully,
Right
we'll
on.
have you on soon, and hopefully, we'll have some new music next time you guys are on.
Absolutely,
Sure.
sure.
So, I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I did too.
Thank you. I'm just kidding.
Right.
It's all right. Anyways,
Easy to do.
but anyways, make sure you guys are liking the page. Make sure you go like the Pool Man Mark Reedy on Facebook, and for all your above and below ground pool needs, you make sure you check out Mark Reedy. He'll hook you up, and check out Rolling Smoke Barbecue, man, right behind Kavanaugh's. Got some great deals. Hey, got some great deals. You know, great burger baskets, great ribs. So
Good food.
go check him out, man. That's Rolling Smoke in Rock Island. So
and I need to get the fuck out of here before I become a pedophile.
you do before that happens. Thank you to Ron's Talks. Thanks to Ben for hosting us.
Hey, these two
Forgot
got
to mention
15.
one
I'm
thing,
ready.
so- So yeah,
Way better
we got
than we
13
are.
year olds here. It's okay. So, but anyways, thank you to Ben and Ron's Talks for hosting us again. We'll be back here soon. You guys are welcome to join us whenever we're on location somewhere. Again, remember my name. Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey, yeah,
Quake,
Bill, hey,
Nez, Wilkins, Victor. Nez, any wise words?
I gotta get the fuck out of here before
Don't
I
let
become
your
a
dick run your
pedophile.
life.
All right. See you guys.
Start singing some